Before we dive into the episode, I just wanted to tell you about the Moms Make Money Collective community, where we host free networking events every single month. If you are interested in learning more about how you can connect with other moms in business and build out your referral network, then go to momsmakemoneycollective.com/networking today and sign up for the free community. I hope to see you inside. All right, let's jump into the episode. In 2024, some things worked really well in my business, and others, well, they just didn't work at all. A few weeks ago, I shared my 2025 goals, so today I'm diving into what I'm ditching and what I'm doubling down on in 2025. So let's get into it. Welcome to the Moms Make Money podcast. I'm your host, Jenny. I'm the owner of Moms Make Money Collective, a podcast and visibility strategist and mom of two. Many moms feel like we need to sacrifice our careers for our children, but I wholeheartedly believe that we can have a thriving business and family at the same time. In this podcast, we're going to be diving into the ins and outs of running a business as a mom and getting real and raw about all things parenting. So buckle up because we're about to go all in. Hey there, welcome back to Moms Make Money. I'm your host, Jenny, and today's episode is all about what I'm ditching and doubling down on in 2025. As busy moms and entrepreneurs, we often juggle so much, and it's easy to get caught up in things that don't truly serve us or our goals. That's why this year I'm taking a hard look at what's working, what's not, and making intentional decisions to ditch what doesn't align and double down on what does. So grab your coffee, your tea, or whatever keeps you going, and let's dive in. Before we talk about the changes that I'm making, I want to take a moment to reflect on 2024. A couple weeks ago, I put out an episode about my 2025 goals, so I want to continue along that theme for this episode. This past year taught me so much about what's truly effective in growing a business and what is just contributing to the noise. I've had my share of wins, challenges, and moments of doubt, but through it all, I've gained clarity about where I want to focus my energy. 2024 showed me that simplicity and alignment are pretty much everything. And when I leaned into strategies and platforms that felt natural to me, things flowed and they felt truly easy. But when I tried to keep up with trends or compare myself to others, honestly, it just felt exhausting. Can you relate to that? I'm sure you can. So first, let's start out with the positives. So let's talk about what I'm doubling down on in 2025. So the first thing is Threads. So if you've never heard of Threads, it's essentially Meta's version of Twitter. Threads has quickly become one of my favorite platforms. It feels authentic, conversational, and much less high pressure than other social media platforms. I love the connections I've made through there and the way that I can engage without feeling like I need to perfectly curate my content. So in 2025, I'm all in on Threads for building community and sharing valuable insights and getting in front of my ideal people. Number 2, my email list. So if you've been around for a while, you know I'm a huge fan of email marketing. It's personal, it's direct, and it's where I see the best results in terms of engagement and conversions. This year, I'm going to be focusing even more on growing my list and providing incredible value to my subscribers. So if you're on my list, expect weekly updates, tips, and resources that you won't find anywhere else. And if you want to join my list and see what it's all about, I'll leave a link in the show notes to do so you can get my emails. I send like kind of a fun, more chatty newsletter every week, in addition to like one that's more actionable. So like I said, I'll leave my link down below and you guys can go join. The next thing is continue to lead into collaboration and referral partnerships. So I believe that business is better together. Some of my biggest wins from 2024 came from working with other amazing women in business, whether through collaborations, referral partnerships, or networking. So in 2025, I am doubling down on building these relationships and creating opportunities to lift each other up because motherhood can be lonely and entrepreneurship can also be lonely. So I think it's important to have these experiences that you are in partnership with someone else and not just working in a silo. So I'm really excited to lean more into collaboration and referral partnerships this year and really see how that can really take my business to new heights. And then the last thing is my podcast. So this podcast is a cornerstone of my business. Both of my podcasts are it's really where I connect with you guys, share strategies, and hopefully inspire you to take action to achieve your big goals, to create a sustainable service-based business and part-time hours, and so much more. This year, I'm really committed to producing even more impactful episodes, bringing on incredible guests, and continuing to grow the Moms Make Money community. So now, let's talk about what I'm letting go of. These are things that have either drained my energy or simply just don't align with where I'm headed. So the first thing is other forms of social media. So for a long time, I felt like I needed to be everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, all over the place. But the truth is, trying to keep up with all these platforms was not only overwhelming for me, but it was also ineffective. So in 2025, I'm ditching the platforms that don't bring me joy or results. Instead, I'll be focusing on threads and my email list where I feel like I can make a real impact. I will say that I have put up a 9 grid on all 3 of my Instagram accounts so that people know my business is still active. But in terms of like actually posting there, we'll see what happens. If I feel inspired and I want to create content for it, so be it. But I don't want to feel the pressure to do so just because people are saying you need to be on Instagram or you need to be on Facebook or whatever platform. Next up is imposter syndrome and comparing myself to others. Honestly, this one's deeply personal. Like many of you, I've struggled with imposter syndrome and the temptation to compare myself to other entrepreneurs for ever since I started my business. But in 2025, I'm really committing to shutting these thoughts down. My journey is my own, and I'm choosing to celebrate my wins, big and small, without comparing them to someone else's highlight reel, because that's what everything is. Everyone's sharing their wins. You know, more people are becoming open about their losses and their failures, but I still feel like that's few and far between. So I really want to just stay in my own lane, focus on me, and really just celebrate my wins, big and small, and see how that feels instead of worrying about what other people are doing. And then lastly, not prioritizing myself. As moms, we're often putting our own well-being on the back burner so that we can take care of everyone else in our lives. So this year, I want to make sure that I'm also a priority in my own life. So that means being better about setting boundaries and making more time for self-care. I did do a lot better that last year because I started doing some of my hobbies that I had missed doing, like reading. Like last year, I read 55 books. This year, I have a goal to read 75 books. But I also want to do some other self-care activities as well because it's so important to take time for yourself because you only have one you only have one body. So you need to take care of it, and that's what I want to do this year. So let's talk about why these changes matter. So these shifts are about more than just strategy. They're about creating a business and life that really feels good and that I really love. By doubling down on what works and letting go of what doesn't, I'm making space for growth, connection, and fulfillment. And that's what I want for you too. So if you're listening to this, thinking about your own 2025 goals or what you're planning to ditch and double down on in 2025, I encourage you to ask yourself, what's working? And what's not working, and what can you let go of to make room for what truly matters. So ask yourself those questions. I'd love to hear what you're planning on ditching and doubling down on in 2025. My DMs on Instagram are always open. You can connect with me over at jenny.sunnison over on Instagram. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm super excited to step into 2025 alongside this incredible community of moms and entrepreneurs. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share with a friend or leave me a review. And if you're ready to double down on your goals this year, let's connect, whether it's on threads, through my email list, or right here on the podcast. I'd love to chat with you. Until next time, keep chasing those big dreams, and remember, you're doing an amazing job. Here is to a simpler, more intentional, and fulfilling 2025. I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'd love it if you would head on over to our free Facebook group called Moms Make Money Collective to connect with us further. If you're more of an Instagram fan, make sure you're following us on Instagram at Moms Make Money Collective. If you're loving the show, make sure to leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcast. Your feedback means the absolute world to us. We'll see you in the next episode.